Well, look who the cat dragged in. Welcome back to another episode of Chat with Shansei. I know it's been a while, so this is gonna be a good one. Yes, it's a Q&A. Yes, I'm answering all your questions. Yes, we are catching up on live. So let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Shansei. I am a content creator, stay-at-home mom to 4 kids, ages 5 and under. We lived in the DMV area for the last 10 years, but we recently just moved to Charlotte. It's been about 6 months since we've been living here. We're currently in the middle of settling down and getting kind of acquainted with the city because our move to Charlotte was absolutely ridiculous. If you don't know, girl, it's a long story, but I will link the whole full story below so you can get a full background. But the abridged version is we hired movers to help us move our stuff from the DMV area to Charlotte. They scammed us out of our entire house. So we've had to basically start over as far as finishing our home, our clothes, and the whole nine. It's been a mess, but we are 6 months in. And I'm finally beginning to feel like we're kind of settling down, not quite, but sort of. But I am being positive Polly. I'm gonna be positive Polly. Before we start the Q&A, let's just catch up on life really quickly. What have I been up to? So when we first moved to Charlotte, the first thing I was doing was looking for a nanny. And if you follow my TikTok, then you know that we did find a nanny. She was fabulous, she was great, but unfortunately she did get a full-time job elsewhere. So she can't really be our full-time nanny and have a full-time job somewhere. I don't necessarily need a nanny full-time, but I do want a nanny at least minimum 23 hours a week, especially because the kids are home from school now. So I am back in the process of looking for another nanny, but this time around it's been going so smoothly because teachers are out of school. Let me tell you something, the best time to look for a nanny is going to be in the summer, because that's usually when all the teachers are out of school or gonna be out of school. You're gonna get quality nannies with degrees who are teachers. I think it's fabulous. And then what happens is those teachers can be a contact. When school starts back up, they could be great for part-time nannies or part-time sitters, because you can have time where they know your kids, get you a teacher. So my search for a nanny this time around has been smooth. It's been great. I've had great interviews. I actually have one that's in her trial weeks. She's fantastic. So it's been going smoothly. And if you're like, what do you look for in a nanny? I do have a few videos regarding what I look for in a nanny. So I will link some of them here. If you want me to make more, let me know. I am happy to chat about it some more. I have 4 kids. I have a 5-year-old who was attending a private preschool. And if you watched my other videos, or maybe you don't know, he had to leave his preschool because it was a little bit of an incident. He went to a school with older kids. In his classroom, they have 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. He's 5. And one of the new kids, 6-year-old, laid his hands on my child. And the school didn't handle the situation very well. It was a whole mess. We ended up pulling him from the school because I didn't feel he was safe in the school at the last minute, because school's supposed to end June 5th, and we pulled him the last week of May. So it sucks, but whatever, he's home with us now. So I'm looking for summer programs for him. I've been having a hard time finding good summer programs. My biggest issue with summer programs is I don't know why they mix the kids. They have 4-year-olds and 12-year-olds. And I'm like, have y'all met preteens in 2024? Yeah, no. I no. Am I crazy? Am I the only one who just feels like preteens nowadays? There's no way I want my kid hanging out with preteens. I'm not comfortable with it. So I'm not gonna do that. However, what I will do is continue to look for a summer program that is more geared towards the right ages. I want my kid with maybe 6, 7-year-olds, but not to the age of 7 to 12. Relax, that's too much. So that's what we are with the kids. My girls are also gonna be out of school the June 16th, so in a week or 2. So I need to find them a summer program as well. But my goal is to have the nanny here at least 3 times a week, and then I will pick up the next time. We do have a few summer travel plans. Canada, our anniversary is coming up, so I'm not quite sure where we're going. If you have suggestions, let me know. When it comes to looking for a vacation, we live in Charlotte. Because we leave our kids, my husband and I try to find a place that is not longer or further than a 5-hour flight. We don't want to be too far away from the kids in case of an emergency. usually before we leave, we'll have a family member staying with our kids, like a nanny, and a family member who's gonna be sleeping over at night. So even though we have a family member, we still don't want to be too far from the kids. So like, if you guys have suggestions of where we should go, let me know. The anniversary trip last year was lit. A time was had. So I want something to mimic that. Like our last 2-year anniversary trips were fantastic. We went to Panama. Like we traveled in like beachy type vibes. I don't know if that's what I want this year as well, but I love a good beach trip. So give me suggestions. Like where should we go? Our anniversary is July 25th. So it's like literally coming up in a little bit over a month. Okay, we also have Father's Day coming up, so I gotta start planning that. I don't know what I want to do Father's Day yet, but obviously something has to be done. That's kind of what's coming up. Another fun little thing going on. I do have a couple of like content creating things for TikTok and Instagram coming up that I'm trying to decide if I want to do or not. I don't know yet, but content creating has been fun. I'm trying to start a few new series. I want to do more pictures. So I want to get like a new camera. I want to start doing more vlogs, but I think I need a camera with better memories so that I can do more vlogs with you guys more often. And I want your suggestions. I want your opinions. Please let me know what you want to see. What type of vlogs you want to see? Longer vlogs, short vlogs? Let me know in the comments. I want to chat. I want to bring you guys content you enjoy, as well as I enjoy making. I love vlogs. I really do love them. But I also really like these like sit down chat, like chit chat, yap sessions where I'm just going off and having a conversation with you guys. So please let me know what more you want to see of. I'm happy to oblige. Teamwork makes the dream work. Also are about to start doing a few, like, I don't really talk about my kids' lives and what's going on in their lives often, because my goal with social media and content creating is I have to be very aware of how I portray my kids and how I talk about my kids and how I post them, and making sure content I post that has to do with my kids' age as well. For example, like I don't want to talk about things going on, embarrassing things going on in their lives. I'm not talking about none of that. But I also want to share content that's relatable to other moms, and I want to help other moms through whatever it is they might be going through. So again, I'm trying to find that balance with YouTube as well, because I want to come to you guys. Like I want to start potty training my 2-year-old, and I've potty trained other kids before, but this is what's stopping me. And let me know if you've ever gone through this. In our home back in the DMV area, we had wood floors all throughout the house, the kids' rooms, our rooms, and all of that. Here in this home that we're in, they got carpet, and I'm terrified. Actually, I'm quite frankly terrified of the idea of potty training with carpet, because oh my god, do y'all know how carpet just soaks up smell? I'm terrified. I don't know what to do about it. So let me know what you guys have done in the past when it comes to potty training with carpet. Like, how did that work? How did you survive? Give me all the tea. Let's talk about how I've been feeling lately. So I'm gonna be 100% candid with you guys. I feel like the last few months, when it comes to our move, my mental health has been all over the place. Like my emotions have been up and down. And I think the biggest thing is because I overestimated how hard it's gonna be to move on from losing all of our stuff. We literally moved to Charlotte with nothing but our pajamas and a few things we had in storage. So imagine like everything that you own gone. Your clothes, your journals, your diaries, like things you've had since you were a child, your degrees, your knickknacks, like every little thing you've had, your furniture gone, right? And as humans, we get attached to things very easily, but especially things you've collected over the years. Like, can you imagine? It's like, it's a big loss. And I think I tried to like downplay it and move on quickly, because I was like, I know it's not coming back, so let's just get on to it. And it kind of backfired, because I've been feeling so down about it. Like, I had to realize that by how I'm reacting to decorating our house. I have no desire to decorate. Like if you follow my TikTok, you know I have the rediscover and remove movement, where I am rediscovering our style, our home, our clothes, and I haven't been doing it. Like I have no desire to decorate. I have no desire to make our home feel like a home. I just keep getting stuck on what we had. and it's not healthy. Like, it's been really weighing me down. So I've had to take some time to just like, okay, I need to talk to my therapist and figure out like how to get out of this rut. And I think my issue was I was trying to get over it without realizing maybe this isn't one of those things that I can get over. Like, how do I get over losing my journals that I've been collecting since I was a teenager? Those are irreplaceable things. Like, one of the most heartbreaking things is the journal I wrote. I used to have a diary that I used to write specifically for my daughters that I started in the NICU that I was gonna give to them when they were older. And it's like, how do I get over that? There are some things you just don't get over, you just learn to live with. And I think where I messed up is instead of trying to get over it, instead of trying to learn how to live with it, I was trying to get over it, and it backfired. Like, I cannot get over it. It's okay not to get over it. I just need to learn how to move on with those feelings. And sometimes they're dull, sometimes they're heavy. I need to learn how to be in the moments when they're heavy and move on to decorating and making our house like a home when they're not. So that's kind of where I have been mentally, and it's been hard on me, but I am feeling better because I am kind of understanding my emotions a little better. I'm not doing that thing I was doing where I was trying to make things better and that's it. I'm sitting in it. I'm okay. I'm feeling better. I'm snapping back into it. So if you haven't seen as many vlogs, it's really because I'm just like I wasn't feeling it, but I'm feeling better. I'm back at it. I'm feeling like myself again. So that's where we are. As far as, well, just me in general and my next moves, what I'm thinking the rest of my year is gonna look like, I want a fun summer. I want a fun summer. And I don't remember who said this, but I think I saw it on TikTok where somebody was like, fun summers don't just happen. You don't just wake up and have a fun summer. You gotta make a fun summer. Okay? So I've been in my bag. I've been trying new activities. I'll tell you, if you guys want me to rate all the activities I've been trying, all the hobbies I've been trying, let me know, I will. I did make a video about just all the gyms I've tried. Summer has to be a good time because you make it a good time. You gotta plan those brunches. You gotta plan those concerts. You gotta plan those trips. You gotta plan those outings. Plan a fun summer. Say it with me. We're gonna have a fun summer. Period. If it's by force, and if you're a mom, it's time to get a sitter. It's time to get a nanny. It's time to get a sitter. Say it with me. Get a nanny. Get a sitter. Because that's the only way you're going to have a good time. You got to have somebody watching kids. And before you come for me and say, well, if somebody's watching your kids, are you raising them? Listen. Yes, I am. It's called a village. And if you know anything about me, you know that I tell you all the time, our village is paid for now. Because it's 2024. The nanny is my village. Pre-K is my village. Summer camp is my village. Housekeeper is my village. Laundry service is my village. Meal prep service is my village. Those are the villages. And I'm going to start back investing in them. Listen, Charlotte, it's been hard. It's been a minute, but I'm trying to get back in my bag of rebuilding my village here in Charlotte so I can have a good time. And that's where we are at. That's where I'm at. That's my goal. And I'm gonna bring y'all with me. In fact, let me write this down. You know what? Let me write down. Building my village in Charlotte. Period. That's the next playlist, okay? And I'm taking y'all along. Period. Hold me accountable and remind me, okay? Because so far, the only way you're gonna have a good time is if you have time to have a good time. I wanna spend quality time with my kids. I wanna spend quality time with my husband, myself. It needs to happen. So we're building a village. And that's the goal for May. Are we in May? Girl, we're in June. It's June 1st. That's the goal for June. Are we clear? Crystal. Okay, boom. Now that we're all caught up with what's coming, what's been going on, and what's to come, let's get into this Q&A, shall we? Do the thing where I pop the question up, because that takes a lot of work editing. I may not do that. I'm just gonna read them. How did you choose Charlotte? Do you find it family friendly? When it comes to Charlotte, it is absolutely 100% family friendly. We chose Charlotte because one, job opportunity for my husband. However, even before the opportunity came up, we have always thought about Charlotte because it's not too far from the DMV area. It's like 5 hours from DC, Maryland, Virginia. So we were like, okay, it's not too far from DC, Maryland, Virginia. So if we feel like we miss DC and want to go back, it's a quick train, quick plane, quick car ride, right? My husband also has been in Charlotte a lot. He used to play the keyboard and he played with a few bands. He came here often. He has cousins that live in the surrounding areas like Raleigh and South Carolina. His mom was actually born and raised in South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina. She has a home there. She doesn't live there anymore. So, you know, he's had family in the area, but primarily we chose it because of my husband's job, and it's also very family friendly. When we were thinking about Charlotte, we did think it was gonna be like a great in between to big city and like small town. It's gonna be a little cheaper. So far I don't think it's that much cheaper in the DMV area. The houses are slightly bigger for the price, but they're kind of the same. But maybe that's because we're right in the city in Charlotte and we're not outside of Charlotte. I heard if you go outside of Charlotte, like in not even Raleigh, but like in Concord or Greensboro, it's a little cheaper. But my thoughts about Charlotte as of now, right? Charlotte is very family friendly. Here's what I love about Charlotte so far. I love the parks. Charlotte has so many incredible parks for hiking, for kids. They have some of the best free community parks I've seen so far. I love it. Lots of family friendly parks, lots of family activities. It's amazing for families. I also think Charlotte is great for outdoor activities. I haven't gone to too many, but I've seen some. I've seen a few where it's like outdoorsy activities. I think they have a lot of that. Hiking, fabulous. My dislikes about Charlotte so far, don't hit me. Charlotte is like a big city. It wants to be a big city, so it like, but it doesn't have big city requirements. Let me give you an example. Like, it's like they have a 5-star restaurant, right? It's gonna charge 5-star prices. It's not necessarily gonna look 5-star, and it's not gonna have 5-star food or 5-star customer service, but it's gonna charge you 5-star prices. You know what I mean? And that's my favorite things to do is go to a spa and lounge around. Charlotte ain't got too many of those. So the little few that they have, they're gonna overcharge. It's like they don't have too many restaurants, at least from my experience, compared to DC. So the 5-star restaurants they have overcharged and the food is trash. I'm sorry, I haven't had a good 5-star meal since I moved to Charlotte. The other little restaurants also are okay. Like, and I'm not just like, oh, I only eat at 5-star restaurants. But when I'm out, baby, and I'm in a nice dress, I wanna go to a nice restaurant. And Charlotte ain't got too many of those. But like the meat restaurants are okay. I've been underwhelmed by the food. I know nothing about nightlife in Charlotte because we really haven't done too much. We've gone to a few rooftop bars and the drinks are okay, the vibes are decent, but I haven't tried any nightlife. Like in DC, we used to go to like Afro beats, like, clubs sort of, but adult lounges, hookah lounges. We did go to one hookah lounge that was pretty decent, that had like a little bar vibe. So we don't know too much about nightlife in Charlotte yet. But so far, the dining is lacking. We're gonna keep you posted on that. I also don't know why they ain't got no dang sidewalks. Charlotte, it's not walkable. It's not walkable at all. Everything is minimum 16 minutes away and 10 miles away. It's not walkable. So those are my dislikes of Charlotte so far. However, I'm a family woman, okay? I got kids. So I love that it's family friendly. If you're thinking about moving to Charlotte, hold off. I'm still here, I'm still learning. I will make a full video later one day about how I feel about Charlotte. Here's the next question. She says, what countries are on your bucket list to visit in 2024 and beyond? Okay, I want to take my kids to Africa. I want to take them to Congo. I want to take them to Kenya, Tanzania. We want to do like an Africa tour. That's just on our list for beyond. Not this year, but for beyond. My husband has been wanting to go to Santorini. He's been talking about it a lot. Italy, I think my sister's probably gonna get married to Italy next year, so I'll probably be going. We wanna go back to Panama. We went to Panama for one of our anniversaries and we loved it. We wanna go back to Panama. I also wanna go to Bali. Yeah, I don't have too many outside of Africa, to be honest. I want to visit Africa countries the most, at least on my list. The next question is right here. I don't know if you can see it. She says, how do you discipline kids? Some tips, please. Okay, disciplining my kids. I think before we talk about disciplining our kids, I want to put a big difference between disciplining and punishment. I'm going to read you guys the definition of discipline so that you understand where I'm coming from. The definition of discipline is, discipline refers to the practice of training someone to follow rules. It involves teaching and guiding an individual to understand and follow acceptable standards of behavior. Discipline aims to promote self-control, responsibility, and positive behavior through consistent and constructive methods. Definition of punishment. Punishment refers to the infliction of penalty or negative consequence in response to an undesirable behavior. Punishment often involves imposing something unpleasant or removing something desirable as a consequence to the behavior. Punishment aims to hurt, discipline aims to teach. Now that we have that little definition in hand, punishment aims to harm, discipline aims to teach. So when you ask me how I discipline, I want you to remember that I don't punish, I discipline. When it comes to discipline, my goal with my kids is to, one, always teach them the correct action. I feel like the easiest way to think about disciplining your kids, think of it as teaching an adult. If an adult did something bad, what would you do to correct them, right? The goal is to teach our toddlers or our kids the correct behavior without causing them any harm. Because I am not trying to hurt my kids. So that includes yelling, hitting. We don't do none of that. I don't want to harm my kids. I want to teach my kids the proper thing to do. The biggest tip I can give you about discipline is to remember your goal is to teach them the right thing to do, not harm them. As a teacher, it can take 4, 5, 6, 5, 7, 8, 10, 20 times to teach somebody something until they get it. Everybody has a different way of learning. So going into it with a patient mindset of saying, I might have to do this 3 to 4 times before they get it, is gonna be the biggest tip I can give you. You're not looking for instant gratification. You're looking for changed behavior, learned behavior. Learning takes time. And sometimes those behaviors are improving so slowly, you might miss it. Learning takes time. Punishment is easy. You did something bad, I'm gonna punish you, I'm gonna take your toy away, I'm gonna take this away. So you're gonna get that instant gratification. You're gonna see immediately, you're gonna see them being upset. They might even change their behavior. But did you really teach them the right thing to do in the process? When my kids say something they're not supposed to say, my goal is to not be like, stop saying that. My goal is to say, hey, when you want to say this, this is what you do. For example, my son kept doing this thing where he would write on walls. This was when he was younger. He was like 3. He used to write on walls, right? We would just tell him, stop writing on walls. Instead, what we should tell him, what we did tell him, what we told his sibling is we write on paper, we write on boards, we write on notebooks. Now, when he has a pen, he goes, oh, I write on paper, I write on notebook, I write on this. Because if I was to tell him, stop writing on the wall, he still has the urge to write. He's learning, he's curious, he wants to write. So instead of just going, don't write on the wall, the proper thing to do is, hey, write on a paper, write on this. And then the consequence to his action would be clean that wall up. So if you've seen my videos, you know this. He will clean the wall that he messed up. And then I will also tell him. My way of doing it is, number one, is first, before starting to teach him, I like to correct the behavior immediately. So like in the process of saying, he wrote on the wall, the first thing that's gonna be happening there is like, yeah, you have to take responsibility for your actions. You're gonna have to clean the wall. After he's cleaned the wall, then I'm like, next time you wanna write on paper. To me, that's discipline. I told you what you had to do. I told you what you shouldn't do, but I gave you another options of how to do it. The consequence of his actions were you had to scrape the wall for 30 minutes. I try to say, give the consequences that make sense for the actions. Like if he was writing on the wall and then I took his tablet away, what the wall gotta do with his tablet? What was I hoping to accomplish? So as far as punishment or discipline or all that goes, that's my take on it. Here is the next question, and it says, top 3 fitness tips for a mama who is tired. Boy, do I have one for you. Top 3 fitness tips for a tired mom. Number one. Don't even bother working out until you've meal prepped. Number 1, focus on your nutrition first. When you don't have time to go work out, to go walk, pay attention to your nutrition, because guess what? You have to eat. You have to eat. The one thing you're gonna do, whether you work out or not, is eat. So start with nutrition. Instead of going out for an hour workout on Monday or on Sunday, meal prep. Cook something. Have your lunch and breakfast ready. At least lunch and breakfast ready, because I promise you, even if you did 2 weeks of eating what you cooked for yourself and prepped, a healthy or a well-balanced meal that you know works for your body, game changer. Get someone to help you figure out what you should be eating to be in a caloric deficit, to know how much you can eat to lose weight, right? While still eating the right things to nourish your body. Tip number 3, give yourself some time. I don't know how far postpartum you are. Give yourself time to get in the groove of things and get into a routine. Give yourself time to start seeing results. Don't give up because you didn't see results in 2 days. Give yourself time. Get into a routine. If you want more fitness tips, I've made a video a long time ago about how I lost all my postpartum weight with the twins, but let me know in the comments and I can make a whole new video about my fitness journey this time around and over the years postpartum. I'm here to share. Let me know in the comments. Hey girl. Hey. Hi. It's a really good question. It says, how do you know if you're actually ready to be a parent? What are some telltales? Whew. I am gonna be 100% real with you. I don't know. I can't tell you that my husband and I sat together and said we are ready to be parents, mainly because a lot of our kids actually kind of were a surprise. We were planning on, we got married and we knew we wanted kids, so we were setting our lives up to be parents, trying to save, trying to understand, having the conversations of who's gonna stay home and who's gonna work with the kids, how do finances need to look like for us to afford kids and all that stuff. Yes, but we weren't necessarily okay, we're ready to have kids right now when our kids came, right? I don't know what telltale signs are to say I'm ready to have kids, but I do know a few things you can start doing as you prepare to be a parent. Getting your finances in order, working on your mental health. Please, please, please start looking at your childhood and seeing places and things where you could improve yourself. Know yourself, know the type of woman you are, discover who you are, love yourself, go to therapy. You can start working on yourself. Get a career that you love. Do all the things you want to do so you don't have one of those, oh, I wish I did this before I had kids. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing I wish I could do now that I can't do because I have kids. We can travel with our kids, we can do with other kids. But everything you can do with your kids means you have to work a little bit harder to be able to do with your kids because you know how to take care of them. So even though I don't have a telltale sign to tell you I'm ready for a kid because of this, I do think those are a few things you need to take care of before you start thinking about having kids, right? Figuring out who you are outside of everything, outside of your husband, your boyfriend, because you want to have a good, strong sense of self, your morals, your values, your likes, your dislikes, before you start procreating, right? What do you want to pass along to your kids? Why do you want them so bad? What do you got to offer them? At the end of the day, they didn't ask to be here. You're bringing them here. So those are a few things you can ask yourself. Those aren't necessarily oh, here's what you should do to have kids, or this is how you know. Those are just things that I feel are a great start to start considering before thinking about them. I personally don't know. We thought about those things. We talked about those things, but I still feel you know what? they weren't really a sign telling me I'm ready because they were all a surprise. So I hope that answers your questions and you get a little bit of an insight of what you can prepare for. How do you manage a young toddler, a newborn twin? Did you get help or part-time help? Listen, Linda, I don't even know where to start. I got pregnant with my second child, which was technically my twins, when my firstborn was only 4 months. I got pregnant with twins 4 months postpartum. Insert that, I'm sorry, what clip? Because finding out was already drastic enough. We had no idea how to prepare. We had no clue how to prepare to be moms or parents to 3 kids under the age of 2. Shit, barely under the age of 1, okay? So how we managed is funny. My husband ended up taking a very long extended leave. It was me and him. My mom was with us until my daughters got out of the NICU because my twins were in the NICU for about 2 months. When they got home, I genuinely don't know what tips to give you because I think we kind of just let be and let loose. My daughters were not sleeping through the night until 2 a.m. in the morning, so my husband and I decided not to fight it. Instead, we binge watched Blacklist from 8 p.m. when they woke up until 2 a.m. when they went back to bed. So we slept from 2 to 6 a.m. He took one baby, I took the other baby. I breastfed both of them, but during the night he bottle fed. I'm a loss for words. Now, I do have a few products that got me through those early days, a few must-haves if you're gonna be twin mom, and I have made a video about must-haves as a twin parent, so I could share that video with you guys under here to just have an idea. But I really think what got us through that time was just let go and let be. Instead of fighting things, we just went with the flow. Our kids were on a schedule. We didn't try to put them on a new schedule. We just went with their schedule and adjusted. I didn't start trying to adjust them to a new schedule until they were at least 5 months. The toddler, he was only 1. So he was easy. It was fun. Honestly, it was fun. It was chaotic. I don't remember it being as hard as it is now when they're older. I think newborns they're relevantly the easier of the bunch compared to toddler. They sleep all day, poop, give you coos and tummy time. It was cute, honestly. It was cute. It was easier. Toddlers, when you get to the 2, 3, 4, 5s, that's when the game begins. This stage, when I have a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old, these are the real trenches. The talk back, the walking, the crawling. It didn't get crazy until the twins started walking and crawling. Honestly, when they were babies, so if I could really narrow down some tips, don't fight it. Go with the flow. Enjoy the process of where they are instead of trying to go into the next stage. If they're sleeping for 2 hours and you've done everything you can, girl, get help if you can. Obviously, number one. Because again, me and my husband did this together. He would take some shifts, I would take the others. We didn't have any outside of help outside of both of us, so he took an extended leave. Get help if you can. If you can't, trying to find a way to have those times be your sleep time. Forget the house. If it's dirty, leave it, okay? And if you can't hire someone to help you with the kids, maybe you hire someone to help you with the house so that you can sleep. Like, honestly, get help where you can. Number 2, go with the flow. Don't fight it. And number 3, remember, these too shall pass. It will pass. I try to look at it as seasons. We have a season for this, a season for that. It's really all just seasons, and they're gonna come and they're gonna go. I know that may not be a tip and they might not be helpful, but that's really all I got for you. So if you have more specific questions, let me know. I will try to answer them. I do want to end this little Q&A/life catch-up video here because I don't want it to be too long because then I'll get too lazy to edit it. But before I end the video, please remember to leave a comment telling me what more you want to see of. Be specific in those comments, girl. I want to know. I am new to YouTube, so I'm still trying to figure out my vibe. I want to know what you guys like, dislike, love, want to see more of. I appreciate you in advance. Your comments are encouraging as always. They keep me coming back. I love it here. I want to get to know you guys more, so let's chat in the comments. Please don't forget to share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Chats with Shanse, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.